Over 80% of viewers aren't subscribed, so be sure to hit that button for more content like this. The Airbus A350 was launched in 2013, but the idea of the aircraft came far earlier, as a direct response to the ever-changing industry and especially the long-haul sector, which had advanced considerably since the quad-engine age, if you will. One of the more notable things about the A350's introduction is the nature of it, that being it's a clean sheet. Unlike the A330neo, A321neo, A320neo, and over to Boeing, their 777X, this plane was a big step for Airbus in achieving more market share. So, let me take the time to explore. The Airbus A350 overall did represent a shift in the commercial aviation scene. There was an emphasis placed on efficiency, and the A350 incorporates this, with cutting-edge materials such as carbon fiber being able to reduce weight and enhance overall performance. This does remain to this day one of its strong points. The aircraft family comprises of now 3 main variants, that is your A350-900 and A350-1000, but also on the side there's that newly announced A350F. Away from the main variants, well, Singapore Airlines flies an A350 ULR for their ultra long-haul flights, and Qantas will fly a purposefully built A350-1000, so they'll be able to complete their 20-plus hour flights on Project Sunrise. The A350-900 was ultimately the first variant to enter service. It caters as the perfect middle ground and is the most popular. Meanwhile, for those customers requiring additional capacity, or maybe say in some cases a direct 777 replacement, well, the A350-1000 has quickly become a compelling option. This can be seen at Virgin Atlantic or Japan Airlines. Additionally, some would go on to say that the A350-1000 is actually what major US carrier Delta requires. They are rumoured to have a deal in the works that has been long-standing, but we await that official confirmation. The birth of the A350 on a whole can be traced back to the emergence of the Boeing 787 Dreamliner. At the time, this clean sheet design from the American plane maker was viewed as revolutionary, and a type that would pose a significant challenge to Airbus in the same market. Despite these concerns, and in what I would argue one of the more interesting moments in our industry in recent times, Airbus really downplayed the threat posed by the 787, believing that their existing models could be enhanced to meet market demands, and that the 787 wouldn't impact them if they didn't have a direct response. Airbus's view on this did lead to an eventual proposal of the A330-200 Lite, which would be a modified version and seemingly some would say a forced response. However, as the aviation landscape evolved, it did become evident that a more substantial response was required, as the 787 enjoyed some considerable success. Airbus reconsidered its position, also acknowledging the need for a solution to compete not necessarily just with the 787, but actually compete effectively in the 250 to 300 seat market, which did house the 787, but also if we're adding capacity on top of that, you have the 777 that comes into the fray. The company's leadership realized that a more ambitious project, you could say, was necessary to really address these changing demands. This realization marked what we know today as the birth of the A350. A decision was made to overall reshape their stance of the long-haul market. The A350 was strategically positioned not only to counter sales of the 787, but also put forward to customers needing to assess their own long-haul fleet a new adequate option. Ultimately, as well, the A350 was engineered to check several boxes that would be required of it, whether that be for environmental factors, efficiency, or something else in between. It was built for airlines to modernize their fleet and gain an advantage over their core competitors. While again, many would argue that the A350 and 787 are not direct competitors, the two aircraft have engaged in a bit of a battle through the years. Many customers will often look towards leading aircraft manufacturers of Airbus and Boeing when they are looking to purchase a new widebody. In that case, nowadays the 777X, 787, A350, and to a certain extent the A330neo will all be pitched launched. The two leading aircraft programs currently, if based on sales, are the A350 and the 787, and thanks to their various developments in recent years, have provided on most cases a pretty worthy solution as an upgrade. And when taking a look at the uncertified 777X and its sheer size, it does present as maybe an aircraft that is too large for some airlines, whereas the A330neo might not be quite what a customer is looking for. Therefore, they're down to the 787 and the A350. In saying that, these are two aircraft types that can pretty adequately work well together in one airline's fleet. Exhibit A is going to be Qantas in the future that will fly the A350 and 787 series extensively to cater to their needs on varying degrees. One key aspect overall of the rivalry in this sector between multiple aircraft types has been that battle for the 250 to 300 seat sector. Both manufacturers recognized the significance of this market, especially in the new age of air travel that was moving away from your more inefficient aircraft types. In some cases, you'd argue that other manufacturers saw the importance of this market later than others, but at the end of the day, leading manufacturers were able to eventually bounce back and respond. Beyond the competition that you may see with the 787, the A350 has played a pretty pivotal role in fending off the continued success and interest in Boeing's 777 program, now extending to the upcoming 777X. Airbus did need to find a solution in the market while working on the A380, which to its own extent is a different aircraft that wasn't intended for the purpose of, say, this market, and the A350 was that. Since the aircraft has entered service, well, it's undeniably been a success in multiple areas. Not only has the aircraft generated widespread acclaim for its operational efficiency, we have the passenger appeal factors and also environmental, but there is so much more. Those are just three of the massive factors when considering a plane's performance within the industry. Airlines across the globe have embraced the aircraft, and this is more than evident in its robust order book and the global footprint that it has. The A350 is featured at pretty much every major airport right around the world. Looking ahead, the best years of the A350 might actually still be on the horizon. This is according to many, with numerous new customers eagerly anticipating deliveries and the upcoming introduction of the A350F, a dedicated freighter variant. So, what you can gather from this is the type is poised to be a continued success. Some also go on to say that the full potential of an A350 is yet to be realised. That could be one day in the form of an A350neo, a new engine option that was briefly discussed in the late 2010s and also covered on the channel not that long ago, or maybe something else. That being said, the aircraft has, yes, successfully addressed key concerns that were present in the market. It's garnered substantial interest, and now, more than a decade following its entry into service, is still attracting orders that we'll see, based on current delivery schedules, production continue well into the 2030s to ensure what can only be described as a multi-decade production period. That again, that is now. It could go on for much longer as more companies look towards securing Airbus A350s for their own wide-body needs. That's why Airbus introduced the A350. That's its performance, and that's also a bit of a reflection on the place it sits in within the industry. If you'd like me to do this with other aircraft types, let me know down below in the comments. Thank you very much for tuning in. I do greatly appreciate your support. Please take care, do also be safe, and I'll see you next time.
And we'll fly.